welcome to part 2 of Loss of Love in this month of love. My name is Lucy Makridis, and I'm an expert in helping women get unstuck and onto their true potential through unlocking their limiting beliefs. I'm a certified life coach, a mentor, and a certified online facilitator. This is Tuesday Talks at 3. It is a platform where women help build one another on this journey on the wheel of life. And as we speak here today, we are pulling out from our session, which was part 1, where we talked about grief and loss. And we will continue on from there with a few takeaways as we introduce our stories of the day. Well, at LMC Consultancy, we are currently running the Awakening Self program. We are currently doing group life coaching, and it's amazing the kind of feedback that we are getting community-wise. So you want to hop onto our Facebook and be able to know when the next dates are available so that you can be part of this experience, this transformation. Lady in Waiting is a program for teenage girls, preteen, 12 years to 18 years of age. We help them to gracefully transition into society. We take them through social media etiquette, very important in today's timing. Work etiquette, dining etiquette. It could be a dying thing, but it's a great thing to have. And apart from that, we show them core values. And what are your core values? What's important to you? What's your personality trait? It really helps them to form their identity. And in the world of today, you need to have your identity so you're not living somebody else's purpose, but your own. Those are the activities ongoing at LMC Consultancy. Join us, and I'll be sharing with you our handles, whether on IG, whether our link on LinkedIn, or just our hashtag, which is on Facebook. I really would love you to come and share your story. And talking about grief, like I said, we moved on from our first session. And today we're going deeper with actual examples. And we want you to know out there that although this is the month of love, it still can be celebrated even though you have lost a loved one. It is not the end. There are people that you can speak to. There are communities that you can join. Let it be love for you, and not only in February. Let it be love for you 12 months of the year. And I'd like you to consider something. And I'm putting this challenge out to you. Do something for someone when it comes to issues, matters, love. Whether you want to be able to step out and help somebody else through their grief, the choice is yours. But remember that whatever you do today, it totally affects the actions of tomorrow. So step out of it and let us be able to help build one another. So we're talking about grief and loss, and I have my guest here. She was still with me in part 1, and now as we move on to part 2 is Roseanne Katunge, founder of Rozana's Lounge. Roseanne, we're in part 2 now.
Glad to be back.
Yes, it was good to just take a break and think about the grief that we are going through. And at this point, I'd love for you to share your story of grief, because you alluded to it in part 1. I would like you to share what was grief for you? What did you go through that you were defining as grief?
Okay. Now, the year is 1995. 1995, this young couple with a young child, everything is looking great. Everything is doing well. You know, it was a loss adjuster. Loss adjuster, they work with insurance companies. And a banker. I was a banker. So everything is bright.
Yes.
1995.
Yes. How many years have you been married by then?
By then, it was around 5 years.
Okay.
Yes, so, and we had a 4-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
Now, around June, the peak of it all, he was promoted and required to go to Eldoret. We were living in Nairobi, but we had to move to Eldoret, where he would start a branch of the company. It was an international firm. So we felt quite honored.
Yes.
I mean, out of all the other stuff, he was chosen.
Yeah.
So we relocated to Eldoret. Now, 1996, 13th August. gave birth to a baby bouncing girl.
Mm.
Pretty girl by the name of Nicole.
Okay.
So
Nicole, did you say? Nicole.
Yes,
Okay.
Nicole Nyambura.
Mm.
Everything was perfect. I mean, this young couple doing very well at work.
Yes.
With these two young children.
Boy and girl.
What
Yes.
else can you ask for?
Yes.
Then around when 13th November. So this is 13th August when I gave birth to my child.
Yes.
So around 3 months later, 13th November, he was nominated to travel out of the country to go and represent the company.
Wow.
We were,
wow.
You know,
over
wow.
the moon.
Totally.
Yes.
What could go wrong?
Mm.
Seriously, what could go wrong?
Mm.
We were just it. Life was just perfect.
Yes.
So because we were in Eldoret and you had to come to Nairobi, to the Wilson Airport, take the flight to the neighboring country, we traveled the day before.
Yes.
On the 12th.
Mm.
So on the 13th, those days there were no mobiles.
Mm.
So
yes,
1996, there were no mobiles.
Yeah.
So we went back to the office. You had to report in the office first before you flew out. So we went to the office, we chatted, wished him well, we were excited because now that was a Thursday. That was a Wednesday, I think. So the Friday he was coming back. So it was not taking long. It was taking like 2 days. Coming back on that Friday, the Saturday they were being honored by the company for his performance.
Mm.
I couldn't come down because of the 3-year-old man-child.
Mm.
But we had promised once he's been honored at the workplace, he'd travel back. My son's birthday was the same month, 21st. So we had
This is November now.
This is November. We've planned all these things. Everything is good. So we say bye-bye, see you. We'll talk when you come back on Friday because there are no mobile, so you can't call me from the neighboring country.
Yes.
You're going there to work. You
Yeah.
come back Friday, call me when you arrive.
Yes.
So we said, bye, I'm at work. So I go continue.
And this time you're working in Eldoret?
I'm working
in
in
bank.
Eldoret. I've just moved there. It's less than a year. I don't know anybody other than my co-workers. So he goes to Wilson Airport. The flight takes off. At Gong Hills, they had a plane crash.
Oh.
And that was it. Just like that,
Whoa.
that was it. My life changed in a second.
Oh, what a shame.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the story, how they landed, where they were going.
They never did. Just took off at Gong Hills.
Yes.
They had a crash. All on board,
Perished.
definitely. Burnt beyond recognition. I'm at work, I'm thinking, oh wow, he's arrived, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
you're looking at the time and
Yes.
you already calculated the timings.
Yes, we will speak on Friday. When he comes back on Friday, talk to me. So I'm going on with my work. Nobody's, of course, that time, by the time the message gets to me, it's the following day. So I'm told this is what has happened. As simple as that. Life changes. I become a widow at 29 years old with a 4-year-old son and a 3-month-old daughter.
Wow. Wow.
I had never heard about death. I mean, where? From whom?
Wow.
We knew you only die when you're old.
Yes. That is so true.
Yes, so it caught me so much off guard.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. Nobody around me knows what to do. Nobody knows what to tell me. I became now like, when they got to hear about it, my workmates, my colleagues, now I became like, they don't want to associate with me. I don't know whether death is contagious or what.
Maybe it's the fear that you spoke of, because
Definitely
in
is
our
the
last
fear.
session you talked about the fear.
Yes.
How do we deal with this? This is the unknown. This is a widow. Where do we start?
Yes. The friends, I knew his friends, couples, we were couples, a number of couples, deserted, left me. You'll be surprised what goes on when you lose a loved one. When you expect people to be with you, they all leave you. Alone. I had to be strong for my children.
I have no words. It's very rare that I don't have words, Roseanne. I have no words.
Yes, I had to be strong for my children. And everybody around will tell me, you have to be strong for your children. So I stopped grieving.
That would be the narrative, yes. Yes.
Be strong. Remember, you have children. You cannot afford to cry in front of your children. You have to be strong for your children.
Wow.
So that's what happened to me. I had to be strong. So how do I go about it? I had to block it. So anyway, we traveled, since we're in Eldoret, we had
Yes.
to travel for the burial and everything.
Yes.
And remember, this is somebody who has burnt beyond recognition. So to date, and I keep saying this, to date, I don't know what we buried. So I have never gotten over that. What did we bury? I was not allowed to look to see. So what did we bury?
You were not allowed to
I
see.
don't know. Yes. So that is something that I keep grieving about.
Yeah,
because
there's
I need
no
to
closure.
There's no closure. I need to come to terms with that. There's no terms to. I do know how I do that, but I have to come to terms with that. So we buried something. Coming back, okay, I transferred back to Nairobi because I couldn't stay in Eldoret. I didn't know anybody in Eldoret. I came back to Nairobi. So at the work, immediately you have to go back to work. Remember, you've lost somebody so significant to your life, but you have to go back to work.
Life goes on.
Life goes on. So you go report back to work and act like everything is okay. You have to be happy again and pretend nothing happened. So at that point, nobody told me that I needed to grieve.
So you have been strong for your children.
Yes.
You're not supposed to cry in front of them.
You've buried.
Now you've buried, and now you even added something else. You don't know what you buried. There was no closure from the casket, and identifying. Even if you were told this is the DNA and this is him indeed,
they didn't do that.
Neither did they do that.
Yes. So what they collected from the site, I don't know. They wanted. You see, we have this culture says, they want to shield you. So they are trying to shield me from this horrible thing.
Yes.
But that's not shielding. Because they needed to allow me to grieve. There are times you must cite to actually move on.
I hear you.
Yes. So they tried to shield me. They were doing it in good faith.
They were. I wanted to say that to you. They
They
were protecting you.
Yes, they were.
It wasn't coming from a place of malice. No.
They were protecting me, but it has haunted me since. Yeah. So that's how it was. So we came back to Nairobi. Well, I found love again.
You did?
I did.
Oh, but I have to ask you, how do we find love again? Okay. Okay.
I did find love, Lucy.
Okay.
Yes, I remarried.
You did?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
But unfortunately, I still not grieved my late husband.
Okay.
But I was fortunate enough to find love. And years later, now I realize how he found me is because I was changed, a changed person. Grief changes you. So this is a person he needed to marry. If I had not met and married my late husband and gone through what I went through, I might never have been the person he saw in me to marry.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What person did he see? I know you said to us in part one that grief is life-changing.
It is life-changing. I was a totally different person than I was before. I valued life now different. I looked at life differently.
There you
now.
go. All right. You've answered my question.
Yes. Life, it had a different meaning to me. And probably this man, my second husband, this is a person he was looking for. And he found that in me. He may never have found that in me if I had never gone through.
I understand.
So what I'm trying to say is what you go through changes you for the better for another person.
Wow.
So you can actually find love.
In retrospect. And one of my questions here was, how do you learn to love again? And you've just jumped the gun and already found the love. Wow.
So we found the love, got married. Now.
And you got married.
Yes. Fast forward.
Yes.
2001.
Okay.
4 months expectant. We're expecting our child. 8th of November, a normal day like any other. Let me take 6th of November. Okay. My daughter now is...
This is November again.
November again.
This November.
This is another November 2001. 6th of November, my daughter Nicole is 5 years. She had a concert in school. So there I was, we took photos, had a concert, I was happy, everything was going on well again.
Yes.
No need to worry.
Yes.
Now, 8th of November, it's a Thursday. Kissed my son and my daughter, bye-bye, have a good day. I dashed to work.
Banker.
Went to work early. While I was at work, because we used to have the TVs on, I heard that there was an accident along Thika Road. A school bus and a matatu. with school bus, the same school bus that had picked my son and my daughter.
Oh, I have goosebumps.
Yes, I'm at work. What do you do? So you get to hear that Good Samaritans have carried the children to the nearest hospitals. So they don't tell you where, so you have to go looking. So from Thika Road, there's Guru Nanak, there is Aga Khan, all those hospitals around there.
You come to realize the hospitals around there because you have a need.
So now we had to go searching. I searched. Lucy, I searched for my children. I was not getting them.
Okay.
I came across my son critically injured at Aga Khan Hospital, needing surgery. They are looking for the next of kin to sign for surgery. Fortunately, we arrived, we signed, we left him to go into surgery. He had hurt his leg. I cannot locate my daughter. Nobody has a clue where my daughter is.
5-year-old Nicole.
5-year-old, sweet Nicole. We cannot locate her. Then somebody mentioned that a Good Samaritan had carried a girl all the way to Kenyatta Hospital. Remember Thika Road, Kenyatta Hospital? Traffic? She passed on the way. She didn't make it. So by the time we get to Kenyatta Hospital,
yes,
she's already in a slab. So that is in my mind today. I can see her peacefully. But she's very peaceful, lying on a slab. No sight of blood anywhere. So what the Good Samaritan thought, she's got no injuries. But you said there were internal injuries. Yes. But to date I keep asking, why did she or he, whoever the Good Samaritan was, carry my child all the way from Thika Road? Thika Road, they're breweries. Do you know where breweries is?
Yes.
To Kenyatta Hospital. Leaving all those hospitals in between. We have all those questions, but yeah. So my daughter had passed on, my 5-year-old daughter. November 8th, remember? Another November.
This is another November.
Yes. So for a long
this means so much for you in Novembers.
For a very long time. November triggers a lot. For a very long time. Yeah. Because I have 8th of November, my daughter. 13th of November, my late husband. And please note, my current husband was born on 13th of November, so we celebrate a birthday.
Was I not just saying this in part 1? That Valentine's Day, the 14th of February, could be the day I was proposed to, could be the day I was divorced, could be the death anniversary.
Yes.
Days.
And it's a birthday.
This is a birthday and a death anniversary. Yes. How do you celebrate it in your home?
Exactly.
Wow.
And then 21st November is my son's birthday. So they all happened within the same month.
This month of November. I would not fault you if anybody gave you a plan for November of happiness, that you'd look at them and say, seriously, do you know November? You don't want to touch November.
Exactly.
So for the longest time, November was the month of loss for you.
I would hold my breath, I won't cheat you.
Yeah.
I would be holding my breath and I ask God, now who next?
Yes.
Who next?
Yeah.
Is it my son? Is it the other?
Yeah.
Who next?
Because now you have a unit, and the unit has already been compromised.
Yes.
Husband gone. Child gone. Now there's 2 of you remaining.
Yes.
Before you found the love, there's 2 of you remaining. And there's a few Novembers in between. That is when someone tells you there's a road trip in November, you look at them and say, where?
Not November.
Not November.
Yes.
And you're not ready to give the details. And somebody's thinking that you're just you're not flexible, you're hard-headed, you're what? We need to be kind to one another. When somebody says no for something, we need to know there's a story, or we need to contemplate.
Always a story.
Yes. Whoa, my deepest condolences, Rozana. My deepest condolences. First the husband, then the daughter.
Yes.
Okay, and how old is your son now?
My son is 28 now.
He's 28 now.
I gave birth. Remember, I was 4 months old?
Yes.
I gave birth to a baby boy.
Yes.
He's 18.
He's 18 now.
Yes,
yes, you were pregnant at that time.
He's 18, we thank God. Yes.
And he never met his sister.
He never met his sister. He knows there's a sister somewhere. He loves the sister.
Yes.
Because we talk about his sister.
You grieve. At least with her, you grieved her.
Not really, because I had to be strong because I was expectant. I was advised now it could affect. So I had to be strong again, go through the motions again, being strong for everybody around.
Wow, that is a tough story, guys. That is tough. It is a true story, eh? It's a true story. She's been hit twice in the same month. But she's sitting here today and sharing her story so that you can be inspired. So you can pull something out of it. Rozana's Lounge. We're speaking taboo. Speaking grief is no taboo. We're speaking grief is no taboo.
That was born in 2020.
It's just hitting me now where this connection is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
We're speaking grief is no taboo.
So fast forward, 2020.
Yes.
The pandemic, deaths all over, people suffering. It hit me. I have a story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
I need to touch people's lives.
Yes.
What happens? I discover Wealth Messenger program.
Mm-hmm. You do?
Yes.
Yes, we discovered this program together.
Yes.
We discovered this program together. And then?
I learned that my story can actually touch people's lives.
Yes.
And I need to go out full blast with my story.
So
in the
true.
process of talking, because I discovered people are not talking about grief. And that's why Rozana's Lounge, we say speaking grief is not taboo there. We speak it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rozana's Lounge was born out of all that.
Yeah.
To help others not go through what I did. You don't need to be strong for anybody. You need to grieve. You have to grieve. If you don't grieve, it will haunt you. And it will come to terrorize you later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grief, for a cure for grief is to grieve.
Is to grieve.
You have to grieve. And the price of grief is love. You know, every time you love somebody and they go, you have to grieve.
It's true.
Yeah.
And they are going to go.
They are going to go.
You see, like you said in the beginning, we are all born and we shall all die. It's just a matter of when does your day come up. When does your day come? It's a very morbid thought that I had just yesterday, and it was because I was preparing for this. And I thought to myself, because it was actually past me, if you saw the messages that I was sending you, I was sending them quite late. And so I was still awake at midnight. And this was my morbid thought, and today is not yet over. My morbid thought was that, Lucy, what if the 8th is your death anniversary? You know, we live our days. We don't know that you've just lived your death anniversary. You may not be dying today, but I could die next year on the 8th of February. What have I done right now with the relationships around me so that when people are thinking of me, there's memories they're holding on to, there's love that comes to them? I had this morbid thought in the wee hours of today. And I want you to understand that you are going to die. The person that you love is going to die. There will be loss of love. But what will you have done before then? Such when you're celebrating their lives, you will actually be celebrating from a point of, man, we did this together. Man, we tried, we loved, we forgave, we moved on. So guys, loss of love in this month of February is a very apt topic. Love the people that you're with today, because you don't know, you could be celebrating a death anniversary tomorrow. Love them. It's never that serious, guys. And I know it sounds so simple, and I'm sure when I get home, I'll catch feelings with somebody. But at the end of the day, it's never that serious. Make it an intentional thing for you to love and to show love. Don't wait until you're burying somebody to start saying how you loved this person. Tell them. Speak to them. Let them know. And let them know how you want to be loved as a friend, as a lover, as a spouse, as a mother, as a grandmother. Name it. Do something about it, guys. Don't wait. I love that she found love again. And that should be a story for another day.
It definitely will.
It is a story for another day. Wow. That's amazing.
I was lucky. I must say.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so that is her story on loss of love. And in part 1, I just want to repeat the takeaways that she had given us. And the first one was that grief is normal. And she went on to explain to us that it is not something that is abnormal because today you're born, tomorrow you die. So grief is normal. Let's not be afraid to talk about grief or talk to the ones who are grieving. The worst grief is yours. Do not compare with somebody else's grief. Do not get into a situation where now you're saying that I can't talk about my grief. My grief is for my best friend. Hey, you had a connection. Yeah? And whereas your grief is for your mother or your father or your child, and therefore your grief is more than mine. No. The worst grief is yours. That's how I understood it, Rozana. Yeah? The worst grief is yours. Grief is life-changing. I mean, she's the epitome of that story. It is life-changing. 1 minute she was on a roller coaster and she knew this was the life. They were picking up, started a new life. And he was gone. In a second he was gone. She was kissing her children goodbye as they went off to school. And in a second, the candle was blown out. So yes, grief is life-changing. Today, she has another child. And she's got her son who was in that accident. Boy, those conversations around your dining table when you're sharing must be deep. But they need to be had. Easier said than done, eh? Easier said than done. But they need to be had. They need to be had. And then grief has no timelines. It does not have timelines. Guys, you cannot put a clock on it. You cannot say, it has no timelines. Thank you so much for sharing your story and just being vulnerable about this story. In this month of love now, as we're all celebrating love, holding hands, we're not supposed to be holding hands, but holding hands, I mean, we live in the same house, holding hands, going out and having events together, having dinners together, lunches, spending the weekend together, or just being at home and enjoying each other's company. You know, honor the love. Honor the love around you. A love of a best friend, a love of the neighbor, a love of the children around. Just honor the love. And I advise you to start with yourself. Honor self. So that when you show up, people do know that this is someone who's confident in themselves. And therefore, when I get to love this person, this is what I'm getting back in return. I get honored and I get validated in that love. It is so important. Thank you so much. I was going to ask her, how do we learn to love again? She already went forward and told us her story. Well, my story is a little bit different. And my story is about an experience. Because my loss was not with one job, but literally with 2 jobs. And for me, the rejection, I did not realize at that time that was grieving. It was only until I was doing my research for this Tuesday talk when I realized that the rejection of my 2 jobs actually was a grieving for me. Question is, did I grieve? If I go fast forward, I'm here today. I'm talking about it. I am here with my own talk show. I would not have been here today if I did not go through the rejection. So what was it? I had the job of a lifetime, so I thought. So I thought at that time. Amazing job in the hospitality industry. And I was going places. I have traveled the world. I have met different cultures. I have sold my country, Kenya, as a destination for tourism. And I have loved every moment of it. I miss it. I miss it right now. I was saying to somebody the other day that being in one place 12 months in a year is very different for me. Because I was always around and about the world, traveling from one country to the other, sharing. And then one day, it all came to a crashing end. It was a rejection. It wasn't working. I had been told that I was the reason it wasn't working. This is the same Lucy who wakes up before the sun comes up, who gives her whole heart, because I am not a 50-50 person. I give my all. So I had a relationship with this job, with the people there. I was part of the DNA of this company. And one day I was told it wasn't working. And it wasn't working. I was given a warning letter. It was my first warning letter in, I think, 20 years of hospitality industry. That was a shot right to my heart. And as I began to think about it, I started reflecting on self. I'm not good enough. I will never make it. I will not get another job. What kind of a person are you, Lucy, to make such a mistake? I am my worst enemy, guys. At that time I was. Today I'm a life coach. These are all the lessons that I learned. Because the rejection happened, I had the opportunity at that time to ask, what can I do differently? If I was to change the stakes, what would you have me do so that I can deliver on the mandate? I never asked that question. I took it personally. And because I took it personally, I beat myself up. I was a wreck. And I went back home and I was living in darkness because somebody somewhere had decided I was not good enough and it wasn't working and had given me a warning letter. So guys, you have an option. When things happen, look for the silver lining. Ask the questions. Today I learn about rejection. If I get rejected today, I know what to ask and I know how to walk away from it or use it as a stepping stone. Now, I did not know this when I was losing my second job. And my second job, now guys, I had really arrived. If I thought I'd arrived the first time, this time, you couldn't touch me. This was it. This was the job of a lifetime. I got rejected. And I can still remember the suit that I was wearing on that day. And I remember the success I had just celebrated on making sales in that morning. You see, I was a director of sales and marketing. That is the level you arrive at in hospitality when you're working in sales and marketing in an international hotel. And then after that, we just go expatriate level. Guys had arrived. You have to agree with me. And I remember my success of that morning. And I was dressed sharp on that day. I was dressed sharp for the rejection. And I was rejected that afternoon. It was 2:30 p.m. See how clear it is in my mind. And when I was told it wasn't working and that we had to split our ways, I thought to myself, do I go down fighting or do I just take the high road? I decided to be very clear about the terms. That where I had come from and where I had brought this company to was XYZ. I had the conversation, something I didn't have before. But note, I was still not in that zone of knowing that I could use rejection to take myself to another level or ask that specific question. But this time I was talking. It did not happen to me. I was participating this time. That was the difference. And I walked out of there and wrote my resignation letter because I'd been given a choice. You know those choices of drawers, eh? It's this one or it's this one, eh? So I resigned and I did my handover. And that was so hard to drive away from that hotel. That was the longest drive, and I don't live far from that hotel. Literally 5 minutes, I'm in my parking. But I can assure you it was the longest drive. I had been rejected a second time, and I had been rejected at the prime of my life. So when I am talking about life coaching today, these are the experiences that I bring to the table. So what have I done with this rejection? I have used it to transcend to the next level. And I took on my consultancy and I started working on my consultancy. And other rejections came across after that. But you know what? They didn't hit me as hard as the other ones had because now I was knowledgeable. Now I was able to say, you've got your strategic decision. I've got my business to go back to. It's time to build Lucy, not build somebody else. Would I go in and get a job today, having experienced these rejections? Yes. Because when you fall, you get up and you move. So if it means I'm going in for a job or I'm continuing with my LMC consultancy and bringing you this kind of talks that are able to help you as an individual, that's what I will do. So grief is life-changing.
It is.
Like Roseanne says. It changed my life. I look at things so differently now. There is a season for everything, and that season had come to an end. It was time for me to move on. My questions now when I interview people are different because before I would say, 2 years this place, 2 years this place, 2 years this place. Why are you not staying in one place? What's the story behind here? It's not about 2 years this place, 2 years this place. It's about what that person has learnt in that season and moved on and applied in another season. I look at interviews differently now, and I interview very differently now. I look at mentorship very differently. The way I mentor the youth today is coming from my life experiences. So my rejection, which happened twice, hit me to the core. It made me feel that I was not good enough. It made me question my identity. Today I speak about it. I could never talk about those 2 rejections the way I talk about them today. And I am happy to share the lessons learnt. And today, Rozana has just put words to those feelings that I had. So I ask again, did I go through the grieving process? I don't know whether I went through them, item by item, chronologically. I don't know whether I did. But I do know one thing, that because I'm talking about it today, that because I am here, I grieved to an extent. And because of this session now of grief and loss, I purpose to keep on sharing this story, especially in my group life coaching, where I have young women who are starting on with their lives and their careers, and they're looking for guidance. This is the story that I shall lead with. That rejection is not the end. It's actually an opportunity as a stepping stone to get to where you are meant to be, which is your potential. So if you're out there and you're being rejected today, don't look for the validation outside. Look for the validation within you. So they have their opinion. They think you're not good enough. What about you? What do you think about yourself? Work on that. Strengthen that muscle. And use your experiences to help people. So what story do you have on grief and loss? What story can you share with us? We'll be shooting this on Facebook Live. And we would like you to take part in it and engage and share with us stories, because just like Roseanne said, she realized on a course that we were on together that she had a story to tell, a story that would inspire people. So you do have a story to tell. Don't hold it to yourself. That is a big injustice that you are doing to the world. And don't think that your story is nothing. You are holding on to a story that somebody is waiting to hear. And as we come towards the end of our hour, I just want to thank you so much for allowing us to bring loss to you during this time when we are all celebrating love. And I want you to be able to know that we are all human and we want to be loved and accepted. But we need to start with self. You need to love yourself and you need to accept yourself, so that when you show up, people can see that you are a person who is loved, because it shows on your face when you're loved. It shows in your demeanor when you're loved. So the question today is, how do we grieve during holidays? What happens during holidays now? Because you're going to remember experiences. We were together with these people during these holidays. So here comes Valentine's, and you've lost somebody. Last Valentine's, you celebrated together. The 14th of February is around the corner. It's just this weekend. Whoa. How are you going to celebrate your holidays?
It's a tough month.
It's a tough month, isn't it?
Month of love.
It's a month of love.
You've lost your loved one.
You've lost your loved one.
Yes.
It's so true.
You need to give yourself permission to grieve.
I like that.
Please allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to feel the feelings. If on that day you just feel like you just want to sit and cry, don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Sit and cry. Feel it. Because when you do that, you start your healing. Yeah?
So I give myself permission.
You have to give yourself permission. Don't let others give you permission. Give yourself permission.
Yes.
There are times you're too hard on ourselves. Like, I should not cry.
Yes.
There were times I would enter the shower.
Yes.
I'm at the shower, I remember something triggers me, and I remember my daughter.
Yes.
And I will just cry and cry and cry in the shower.
Yes.
I decide I'm not holding on to anything. Let it all come out.
Yes.
So during this period, if something triggers, of course we will be triggered because we are lacking our loved ones.
Yes.
They are missing.
Yes.
So you feel, I need to let it out. Please, cry.
Let it out.
I
Give
keep
yourself
saying
the
cry.
permission
Crying
to.
helps. It really does help. Secondly, talk about your feelings. Look for somebody to talk to about your feelings. There will be sadness. You will be seeing couples. I remember when my husband passed on, I could not go to church. Why? Because we used to go and sit together. So when I go to church, I see couples. And I'll just start crying. And people would be like, what's wrong with her? So you need somebody to talk to. Look for somebody to talk to and tell them what you're feeling. And they should not judge you. Look for somebody who will not judge you.
Yes.
Who will not try to fix you. And tell you, please, it's over, get over it.
But how do I look for this person? Don't we have groups, communities
We
where...
have support groups.
Support groups,
all over. Even on Facebook, you can get them. There are specific support groups.
So I just search on Facebook.
Yes, you can get.
Yeah.
Also, around where you stay, definitely there must be some support groups.
Yeah.
Rozana's Lounge is one of also those support groups.
Yes, you heard that. Rozana's Lounge.
Yes. Where we allow you to be yourself. There's no judgment whatsoever.
Yes.
Yeah? So you need somebody to talk to. I am always ready to talk, to listen. You talk, I listen. What I say is, for support, you don't give solutions to anybody. The person wants to talk. Allow them to talk without giving them solutions. They're not there for solutions. The day they want solutions, they'll tell you.
Yeah, I like what you said about fixing. It's not about fixing.
It's don't fix me. Don't fix me. You can't fix my grief. You cannot.
You can't fix
and the pain. You can't fix my pain.
You can't.
It can never be removed.
Yes.
But what you can do for me is sit there patiently.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
If I cry and you feel like crying, cry.
Yeah.
Nobody stops you from crying.
Yeah.
Let's cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have to sit patiently, quietly, without offering solution to this person. So this person feeling sad, so they want to talk it out. Allow them to talk it out. Yes.
Wow.
Then, of course, treat yourself. Be kind to yourself. This is a season for love. So love yourself, and you say self-love. Love yourself. Don't be so harsh on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Because at times I could sit and say, gosh, it's been 24 years since my husband passed on. Why am I still the way I am?
Yeah.
Why am I feeling? No. This grief is forever.
Yes.
So don't be hard on yourself during this period. On 14th, don't be hard on yourself. Yeah, you need to love yourself. Treat yourself. Go for a massage. Why not?
And what I also love is the fact that, what you said in part 1 really resonated with me, is, go out and get people to come and celebrate with.
Exactly.
You don't know whether they are grieving, but they could help you with your grief. But so much better, more if they are grieving. So then you can help them and they know there's a safe place for them to come and celebrate. Somebody thought about them.
True.
And brought them out.
I would have been excited if then people would remember me and come, call me.
Yeah.
We sit together.
Yes.
They allow me to talk it out.
Yes.
It's necessary. When you're grieving, you need people around you.
Yeah. Wow.
People who will not judge you, who will not fix you.
Yeah.
Please, grief is not for fixing.
But I have to ask you one thing. And I find it happens to me. So I'm sitting with someone who's gone through an experience.
Yes.
Maybe not a loss of a loved one, but an experience. And they begin to cry. What am I supposed to do at this point? Because now we are sitting, yeah? And this could be the wrong thing for me to say. I'm African. What I'm going to do is come and hug you and tell you it's okay. It's all right. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's all right. Okay, what am I supposed to do?
Just hold the person.
I just hold.
Just hold. The fact you've just held.
Yes.
And with COVID now, maybe probably might not. But you could just hold hands.
Yes.
Just the fact that you are showing, concern.
And the support.
And that
I'm
support.
here.
Yes.
I'm here.
I'm actually here.
I'm here.
Please be there, as in be there.
Yes.
Don't be there, not there.
There on my phone, there answering things, be there.
100% be there for that person. They will come to appreciate it. They will definitely remember you. Don't say anything. Don't tell them it's okay. It's going to be okay. They have gone to a better place. God had a reason for all this. Please don't.
Yeah.
Just silently sit. I know we don't know how to do that.
I don't know how to do it. I
to
kid
learn.
you not, Rozana. I don't know how to do it.
Yes.
And the other thing that I do is I start getting busy in the house, doing things, and you're sitting there. doing things, because coming to sit with you and now you're going to cry because of what you're going through, I feel I'm not equipped.
It's the culture in us.
Yeah.
We don't want, we feel, when you see somebody who's going through some things, you feel like they should be happy. I must do something to make sure they're happy.
Yes.
So it's that fix mentality.
Yeah.
I must fix her.
Yes.
So that's where you're all over. Because
Yeah.
you're feeling, if I do all this, she will see other things
Yeah.
and forget about what she's feeling,
Mm.
so that now we concentrate on something else. No, don't fix anything.
Yeah.
Sit. You've got to learn to sit
Still.
still. Let them cry, let them talk. And there are times they will not talk. They just want to sit. So they want your presence.
Yeah.
Just be there for them. I call it being there, as in present. Be present.
Well, guys, this February, just be there.
Be present.
Be present for one another. Just hold each other in presence. I don't know how else to put it. And even yourself, if you're the one who is grieving also, be
kind.
present to the point of what's happening here now. Because unfortunately, life does go on. And I know that it is difficult. Been there twice. And it is hard to take in. But let's love one another and let's be kind to ourselves. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much, Roseanne.
I'm so happy I was here.
Wow, that's amazing. And I do hope that you will be able to join us when we are shooting it on Facebook Live, when we're putting it there. So we can take your questions, we can leave our contacts. You'll have had time to think about it, things to internalize, and even share your story. Share your takeaways. Somebody somewhere needs to hear your message. Your message. So thank you so much. In the next week, we will have another guest who's coming on to the show. And we do hope that you will join us so that we can help build one another. Until then, be kind to yourselves.